Welcome to Lando Leaves Land. My name's Lando, and I traveled to Portsmouth, Virginia to buy my first sailboat. Where the winds take me, I don't really know, but it's gonna be an adventure. Subscribe, and thanks for joining me on this journey.
Good riddance. See you later, Harbor Marina. Have a nice race week. So got here to the Boatyard. Thank you, Jason with Towboat US. He has towed me twice now. If you ever see this, Jason, here is the Boatyard. Lots of boats. This boat is awesome. Is it a Haas? What is it? I love that swim step. Pretty cool.
Doesn't get better than that. Perfect.
So still here at the City Boatyard in Charleston, and I just got a quote for $880 or 8 hours at $110 an hour to pull the transmission out and figure out what the problem is and then put the transmission back in later. So $880 to pull the transmission out and put it back in. Take it apart, put it back together. $880. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start pulling some bolts out, some screws out, try and open this sucker up, so maybe it won't take them so long. Time is money, trying to save some. So Alex starting here at 12:30. 12:30, Alex starting.
Messed up. The bolts are messed up, or messed up the
threads or whatever, right?
right. The bolts or the plates walled out or what? My guess is at some point in time it loosened up.
Looks like in that hole right there, there's like a burr.
Yeah.
That looks like that's what's snagging.
Now the key is still giving me issues.
That key would have been like that since the beginning. I would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah, it wouldn't have moved.
Yeah, the key didn't wander the first time around. You would have been good to go.
Right.
See that play there? That's where we've been.
Yeah.
It all depends on when we get this apart enough to see. If the holes are still round, we'll put some Loctite on the bolts when they go back in and really like get some good torque on them.
Mm-hmm.
If the holes are no longer round in this piece, it'd probably be a good idea to get it replaced. I mean, you can repair it, but it's aluminum. Some people don't like to say, oh yeah, fill the hole and drill another one in its place. Well, there's your problem.
No, 4 missing.
4 missing.
Are they? Are they down in the
Did they foul in the bilge?
engine? There's two.
There's one.
There's one. There's two. Three. There's two more down there. Son of a bitch.
There's
There's
another one.
another one.
And a chunk of some kind of metal.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 5 bolts and 6 holes, and the holes look decent.
Yeah, like real
This one's a little wallowed out, and that one's a little wallowed out.
That's
but-
because it was just loose as hell.
Yeah, but I mean, if we have 6 holes, you know, these two look great. That one's a little wallowed out, and that one's still square up straight. I'm just glad that the bolts will go in.
Yeah, the threads aren't destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the transmission's not bad. It's just where it was mounted to the plate that mounted
Yeah.
to the.
I've been pulling out little pieces from that. So, but front seal on the transmission's not leaking, so that's a good sign. Usually when stuff starts moving around like this, you start running into leaks.
Breaking into seals.
But the dampener plate took all the abuse, which is what you want to have happen if anything happens. So, I want to make sure all these. I'm gonna go find a tap for these bolts, so we can run down these holes, make sure these holes are nice and cleared up. I'm gonna get you some grade 8s to go in their stead. But I want to get you at least 6 brand new bolts to go in here. That way we don't have to worry about it. We'll put a little Loctite in them. We'll clean the threads, make sure the threads are galled up.
What about the damper plate?
I need to get that and see what I can do. This is a Westerbeek, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Properly and sharp enough that if there's something in the threads, it'll cut it out as well. It will re-straighten out any threads if any of the threads are bad.
M10 by 1.5.
1.5?
1.5.
Yeah. 1.5, 1.25.
So we're waiting on Chris, the transmission guy, to try and find the right damper plate. He said he was having trouble finding it. So hopefully he finds it and it doesn't cost too much.
So while waiting for the damper plate to arrive, we checked out the prop and decided to give it a new grease job.
Ew. Keep the dot on K.
Yep. Yeah, if you ever take it apart, your prop's a K. Don't get confused.
Don't want to get off pitch.
Yeah, right.
A couple days later, the damper plate arrived, and it was time to put the pieces back together. In summary, my guess is that it all started with the key pin coming out, and when the shaft came forward, things started jarring loose as the shaft rotated through. It's also important to note that the previous owner had a rebuild done on the engine, and perhaps it wasn't put back together adequately in certain areas. It appeared that 4 or 5 bolts had rattled out that were supporting the front plate and the transmission, and because of that, the damper plate was slightly worn inside and needed replacing as well. So everything was going pretty smoothly, but I still had to pay the bill. I found the damper plate online ranging from about $225 to $265, so I figured it shouldn't be too much more than that. However, when I ran down the receipt in the Boatyard office, it turned out to be over an $800 charge. Also, I clocked all of the labor done and it came out to be 3.5 hours altogether. But get this, I was charged for over 11 hours. I won't say any names, but when I started to question a couple of these things, the guy behind the counter met me with some hostility as he said, "Well, if you don't agree with the charges, then we'll just take everything apart again and splash you back in the water." I wasn't sure what to say to that, so I just wanted to get out of there and I paid the price in full. Comment below if you would have done anything differently. So while I was sitting on the hard one day, a guy in the yard named Anthony was interested in my boat, and I got around to telling him of my plans to head south again, going outside, as the intracoastal going through Georgia is too shallow for my draft. So he agreed to help me bring it down to Florida. I just had to wait a couple weeks for him as he was quitting his job. Finally left the Boatyard. Anthony's helping me take it to anchor until he can help me go down. There's Anthony. Heading down the Lando. Thank goodness away from the boatyard. Towards Anchorage, or we might sneak into Cooper Marina if everybody's gone home. That's where Anthony keeps his boat anyways. So today I left the boatyard and I was able to push the pin back in here. It had come out, and when I got here the set screws were loose again. So this problem needs to be fixed, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't know if we need to go back to the old set screws that can be held together with the wire so they don't turn and loosen. And also, how do we keep that pin from coming out? Does the end of the shaft need to be welded? Do I need a new pin that stays in place better? What do we do here? So tired of this. I want to fix it. Here at the Cooper Marina. Cooper River Marina. Supposedly, this is a guy from the Alaskan Bushwhackers bought this boat here. It's getting some work done, and I guess he wanted to. I don't know if he still wants to take it all the way around to Alaska. There's a bunch of plants growing up there, and a video camera. So looks like the story is true, like a heavy-duty video. The moon is still out. Blood moon. Anthony will be here in about 15 minutes, and we'll be on our way to the Anchorage, and then he's got to get off to work. Anthony's at the helm. Woke up early this morning for me. Going to Anchor. All right, just dinghied here. Dinghied over to the dinghy dock. Anthony took off. He had to head back to work. Headed that way. He works real close to here. So we got a good anchorage. I'll show you over there in a bit. It's not really the typical anchorage of the area here, but I found it on Active Captain, and it seems to be a good spot for now. So I'll dinghied up. I got my laundry there, but I'm gonna go try and find a laundry place first before I take it, lug it around. So I am here at Salty Mike's, right next to the city marina, in the laundry room, doing some laundry. Salty Mike's is a restaurant, a variety store, a bar, I think, and a laundromat, all in one. So I just talked with Anthony, who works for the Boatyard, the mobile service that's closer to Charleston here, where I'm at now. The Boatyard where I was is, it's about a 3-hour trip. They are going to try and fix the pin coming out here and get two different set screws that should probably do the job better.
Shortly after that, Anthony and I brought the boat into the city marina where they could take a look at it. So the guys took a look at things, and to my dismay, it was decided I needed to be hauled out again. If you remember in my previous video, I spoke about not wanting to go to the Charleston City Boatyard based off reviews.
For everything I've read, it says that the yard charges too much for everything that they do. And a lot of people said they don't do the job right. So who would want that?
How spot on were all those reviews I read. But because all the mechanics in the area were busy, I had no other choice. Stay tuned for the next episode as I head back to the yard and put the finishing touches on this ongoing problem. After that, I hang out in Charleston a bit while I wait for Anthony.
Nice, dude.
Then we prepare a little and finally head out the harbor on the long-awaited journey south to Florida. Thanks for following along, and I will see you in the next one. That's a wrap.